Good noon, world. It's Simon O'Mara. I'll make maybe a 40-minute video, guys. 50-minute video. And after this, I'm gonna upload the video. I'm gonna take a shower, and then head on to these and get my check. By the time I've done the video, like 1:20, 1:30, the check is ready after 2. I'll take my shower, then I'll take the bus, and I'll go to Denny's and get my check. How much you get paid? I get about $100. Working one shift, and I get like, I don't know, $8 tip. So I have enough to get like a 25 pack of smokes and like 6 beers. About $100 I make, right? Yeah, we get food, Ivan. Probably not. I'll just save my money and eat food at home. Yeah. Or I might get food, I don't know. I might get slices at Bob's. It's cheap, right? Bob's slices at Bob's. I might get that, right? Yeah. So you might start the SHL Hockey League. Maybe, but it's most likely I'm going to be moving to reaching. But something tells me the gates are going to delay this thing until I'm like 48, 50, man. All my movie plans are fucked up, but I can still do the greatest thing we can, or reason Matt Damon Ben Affleck, obviously. Or I can do Zanus, but like John Megan and them are going to be older, so it's like they're not good for the movie anymore. Or I start the Pro Hockey League. The Pro Hockey League is my second choice after Sky Source. Yeah. What's risky? I'm talking to all your NHL athletes. What if I flop as a player, man? I don't want to take that risk. Ivan, if you train for like 3-4 years, you should be able to keep up with best players. Yeah, what if I flop, guys? I spent all that money on the league and I'm not productive on guys. But Ivan, just because first season you're not doing that, it doesn't mean you won't get better, right? If you keep training, maybe by your second, third season, you're a star player. So it's like, you never know, right? You just gotta keep working hard, obviously. As Michael Jordan wasn't good enough for his high school team. He got cut from his basketball high school team when he was a kid, man. Michael Jordan. Then he worked hard at it, and he ended up drafting it in the NBA, and now he's the greatest basketball player in history. Michael Jordan. There's no one better than Michael Jordan in NBA history, right? He's the greatest basketball player ever. Michael Jordan. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have the genes, man. I have the genes that all these hockey players don't have. Obviously. But it doesn't mean I'll peak at their level, though. Obviously. Yeah, Ivan, you're right. You do have higher potential almost because you have the genes of God, but it doesn't mean I'll peak at your level, guys. I can flop, guys, right? That's my point. Yeah. You think you'll peak at some of the best NHL athletes level? Maybe, or I flop. I don't know. Music, yeah, in pro sports, you being a pro athlete is fucking cool, but like, it's not as cool as you being a movie. It's close. Me being a star pro hockey athlete, being a movie star is close. It's pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close, Ivan, you playing pro sports, but movies is a bit better. Yeah, it's a bit better movie. It's glory. It's a bit better glory. If you're a star player, Ivan, all the sport anchors in your league will be talking about you, Ivan. You and all the other star players. And the world will be buzzing about the game. They're looking at crazy buzz. The press will be talking about you. They'll be talking about the star players. They're going to be interviewing you and your fellow star players in your team for the press conference. And Ivan, just having the press interview you for a press conference, obviously, as a player in training camp and everything, that's fucking glory, Ivan. And you're naturally funny. You're putting on the show. Yeah, man, that's glory, man. It was amazing to speak. Yeah, I mean, you're naturally funny, man. I am. And that's where all these NHL athletes are going to feel like shit because they missed out on all this buzz, hype, and being a world famous athlete, and they're left behind. Like, they're legends, but they're legends in the gatekeepers NHL. And they're not even close to being as famous as the star athletes in my league. The star athletes in my league are going to be world famous athletes, guys. looking at famous players. The fans are gonna love, especially the people in Canada, the Canadian teams, right? The American teams will sell out too in the States too, because it's an Ivan league, obviously. But the teams in Canada, the buzz is even crazier for the Canadian teams, because Canada's hockey sport. All the fans are gonna love all these star players and all their teams that they're rooting for, right? In Canada and the States too. And now all the American guys in the States who don't really care that much about hockey will be tuning into the games. Yeah, I don't really care that much about hockey, but I'll watch Ivan play pro hockey. They're all going to tune in, man. Even Skip Bayless and Shannon will be tuning into my games. And those guys don't care about hockey, right? They don't care about hockey, those guys. Yeah, I don't really care about hockey, Ivan, but if you're playing in our pro league, I'll watch you play, Ivan. I'll watch you play. I guarantee all you Americans are crazy. Ivan, you're crazy. Why the fuck would you choose hockey out of all the pro sports? Because hockey, for me, it's Canada sport. I'm Canadian, obviously. And for me personally, there's something unique about hockey. For me, out of all the sports, it's the coolest out of all the sports. For me personally, when I watch it, right? Yeah. Do you think hockey's more entertaining than football, Ivan? It's close, but I'd probably give the edge to football. Football, you can argue, is a more entertaining sport than hockey. I get that. Or they're just as entertaining. But I think hockey's more entertaining than basketball. Because basketball is just it's just scoring left and right. But football, you can argue, is more entertaining than hockey, obviously. But hockey is now my favorite sport. It used to be football, but hockey is number one for me. It's a pride thing. I'm Canadian. And there's something cool about hockey. Obviously. Oh yeah, he's like, yeah, Ivan. There's something cool about hockey, Ivan. Yeah, the agile athletes are biased. Yeah, Ivan. The coolest sport I'd love to see you play is hockey, but these other guys would say it's cooler, Ivan, as a basketball player or a football player. But I think out of all the pro sports, hockey is the greatest glory with Ivan. There's something. Yeah. I see what you're saying. If you playing hockey, I think is the greatest glory. Because hockey is the one sport when you do amazing moves and everything, it looks the coolest. It looks the most magical on when you see the highlights. You look at all the star player highlights in all these pro leagues, the hockey highlights stand out the most to me, for me personally. When they do all these amazing moves, it stands out the most. So you probably comment eventually, yeah, Ivan, hockey's the coolest sport. Yeah, I know you guys think it is because you guys are hockey players, you're biased, but all these American guys probably think I'm crazy. Yeah, you're crazy, man. Why don't you play football or something like that? Because football is a physical sport, and it's injuries, man. Football is a high chance I can get injured and all stuff. What position would you want to play if you play football? Quarterback. Quarterback is tough. That's tough, man. Yeah, I mean, that's something. Yeah, quarterback is tough, man. Accuracy, throwing, and everything, that's fucking tough, man. I want to be a pro hockey player. Yeah. If I start a pro league, right? Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and LeBron James. Fuck you, Ivan. You're such a fucking dick, man. If you start that pro league, Ivan, we're gonna be crushed, man. We're gonna feel like shit, Ivan. Yeah, even those guys are feel like shit. Because of the side attention, and they're not. I'm way more famous than all those guys, man. I know LeBron James and Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady are famous people, but they're not even close to being as famous as me. I'm way more famous than all those guys. It's not even close. Yo, Ivan, even though we're fucking famous, we're not you, man. You're fucking why, you're much bigger. We're all puny. Yeah, they're all puny and small than me, those guys, man. Puny and small compared to me, those guys. I'm so powerful. That's why the gates knock adores me, and because they know I'm powerful, man. I'm very powerful, and I have the keys to the kingdom. Yeah. 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 So even the legends in the other leagues are full of shit. Yeah, they will. especially the hockey players. The NHL athletes are the ones who are really, really going to be crushed because they're hockey players, right? And Ivan started the league better than the NHL. But even the players in the other pools are going to feel like shit because of the side tension. The fans are much bigger Ivan fans than they are. These guys are not me, man. They're not why. I'm way more famous on these guys. Yeah. Yeah. That's why all these NHL are going to feel like shit. Yo, man, if you do that, man, you're going to crush us, man. Don't do that, man. You're going to crush us, Ivan. We missed out on opportunity. Like, we're legends in the NHL, but we're left behind, and like all these upcoming guys are all like world famous in your league, and the fans love them a lot more than us, and they're making way more money than what we are to be in the NHL. And all the sport anchors are talking about these star players with you, and they're trending with you and all that stuff in the league. It's not fair, Ivan. Yeah, they missed out on all that hype, buzz, world fame, and money, man. Obviously, these NHL athletes. So the NHL athletes will be crushed. Oh, yeah, they will. They'll be crushed. Yeah, they'll be crushed. McDavid, Crosby, Ovechkin, Malkin, McKinnon, Ginlaw, guys who retired, Jerome Jagger, Marilyn Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, obviously Bobby Orr. They're going to be crushed because they're legends in the Gatekeepers NHL, and my SHL is better than the Gatekeepers NHL, and they missed out on all that dough too. And they would have been way more world famous playing in my league than they would have playing in the NHL. Yeah. So Ivan, you're gonna build your SHL Hall of Fame. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I want you guys to build the SHL Hall of Fame. Yeah, Ivan, we'll do that. We'll build the SHL the SHL Hall of Fame, and after like 10, 15 years, you have the first players inducted into the SHL Hall of Fame. Yeah, my SHL Hall of Fame. I'm gonna build a beautiful facility. Yeah, which will be very popular. A lot of fans will be visiting that facility because the SHL legends are gonna be more famous than even the NHL legends. That's why the NHL legends are gonna feel like shit because the SHL legends in my league are a lot more famous than the legends in the NHL. Yeah. SHL Hockey Hall of Fame, right? Now, my goal is to be on that list, too. I want to make the Hall of Fame in my own league, but I mean, if you don't make the Hall of Fame, will you be crushed playing in your league? Yes, I will. Yeah, I played hockey, but I'm not in the Hall of Fame. That sucks, obviously, right? My goal is to make it to the Hockey Hall of Fame, obviously, in my own league. Yeah. Yeah. After this, I'm going to upload the video and take a shower, and I'm going to take the bus to Dinty's and get my check. Yeah. Get my beer and my smokes, right? Yeah. So if you're not going to have a star non-generational talent make 32 million a season for 10 years, no. Otherwise, that player Yes, the GM has enough cap space to pay that player that, but don't forget you're paying like 2 other star players. So you're going to drain a good chunk of the cap, and you have to create cap space to pay other players, other good players, or 12 million, because good players are going to demand like 12, 13 million dollars. They'll peak at maybe $13 million of good players. They're going to demand that. They have to get paid those guys too. Obviously, the draft picks, right? Or when players get traded, like they're going to demand a lot of money. They have to get paid too, and they're not worth that. I'm not going to pay a player $320 million for a non-star generational talent, $320 million for 10 seasons, and then with their league revenue, they just made like $400 million. Star non-generational talent are not worth $400 million in career earnings for their first contract. They peak at maybe $300 million. That's their peak probably. Around there, right? $270 to $300 is their peak. Only generational talent are worth like their $350, $400 million, $450 million. They are the generational talent are worth in their career earnings for their 10-year contract. Generational talent, but non-generational talent are not worth that. They're not going to peak any higher than maybe $300 million. But if you pay a player $32 million for 10 years, obviously with their league revenue, they just made almost like $380, $400 million. They ripped you off. You overpaid them. They're not worth that. You got to balance it out, right? You get $32 million for 2 seasons, you got to bring it down. You have to create cap space so other players get paid. That's how it works, right? But Ivan, can the GM afford to pay the player $30 million for 10 years? Yes, they can, but they're going to drain the cap, and you're not going to have much cap space to pay other upcoming players good money. And the player, and I don't mean to be rude, these hockey players are not worth that kind of deal, man. I'm not going to pay a player $320 million for 10 years, and I give you league revenue, and you're pulling in like $400 million in earnings for 10 years, and they ripped you off. They're not worth it. You got to balance it out. What you saying, yeah. Yeah, Ivan, that's fair. They're not, even the board grounds, but yeah, Ivan, the players are not worth that. Yeah, you got to balance it out. Yeah, you have to balance it out. Only pay that player with X amount of money for 2 years, and they got to take pay cuts. Pay the player $32 million for 2 seasons, and after that, you pay them $27 million for 2-3 seasons, and after that, you bring it down to maybe $21 million, $22 million for another 2 seasons, and the final 2 seasons they make $18 million. Obviously, yeah. For 10, and they made like they still made like $250 million over. There's $260 million in earnings. That player, it's a lot of money, man. And $260 million, $270 million in earnings is enough in your prime. And now, when you're a veteran player, no longer in your prime, now you got to take your pay cuts, man. You're not going to get that contract ever again. And even the board was up, yeah, Ivan, that's smart. That way you have balance and you can pay. Yeah, you got to pay the upcoming new guys their big contracts too. So you have to balance. You have to have balance for the team, for the league, right? And the board was, but yeah, Ivan, the players are not worth that. You don't want to have them sign. You don't want to sign these veteran players to another like 100, 150, 200. No, they're not worth that, Ivan. They're ripping you off. Yes, they're star athletes, the best hockey players in the world, and they're putting on a show on television, obviously, and they're star professional athletes. They deserve to get paid, but I'm not going to overpay these guys and have them do me, man. Got some Sarah? Fuck you all. You're such a fucking... But guys, man, I don't mean to be rude. All you hockey athletes, you're not worth that kind of... You're not worth that, guys. I'm not going to pay you like a $270 million deal, $200 million deal, $300 million deal for like 10 seasons, and you think I'm going to pay you another $300 million deal. You're fucking crazy. You guys are not worth that, man. You rip me off. You gotta take pay cuts, man. That's how it works. Even Sidney Crosby and McDavid are not worth that. If they worked in my league, even those guys would not be allowed to get another deal like that ever again. I'm not gonna have those guys do me. Yeah. You made your $440 million as a generational talent for your 10 years. Now you have to take a pay cut. I'm not going to pay you another $450 million. Now you make $900 million in earnings and have you do like that, guys. You're not worth that. But you'll still get like your $40 million, $50 million, $60 million contracts. That's still good. That's more than what some NHL athletes make, right? Yeah, that's fair. After you made all that though, yeah, after you made your $120 million, $150 million, $180 million, $200 million, $250 million, 300 million career earnings, 400 million career earnings. Now you're going to take huge pay cuts as a veteran player because you're no longer in your prime. Now that you're no longer in your prime and you're old, you're not going to get that delivery again, guys. I'm not going to have you guys do me, man. You made enough money, more than even on average of what these other pro athletes make in the other leagues. That's enough. I'm not going to have these athletes do me. Carson Sarah. Fuck you, Ari. You're such a my guys, man. Like I'm not going to have you guys do like that, man. I'm not going to overpay you guys to have you do me. Yeah, we know that we're not worth that. Yeah, you guys are not worth that, guys. You're not worth all that money after already signing that mega deal. You're not worth that, guys. I'm not gonna have you guys do me. Yeah, even LeBron James, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Patrick Mahomes, all those guys are not worth that kind of money. After like a 20-year season, even those guys are not worth that. And they know it. They're not worth that. Michael Jordan even is not even worth that. I think, Ivan, you're right. Even Michael Jordan's not worth that. You're overpaying the players, man. They're not worth that, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's why they want. Ivan. That's why they want to raise. We want to raise, Ivan. It's not fair. You're making all those you're making like your 90 billion, 100 billion a season, 80 billion a season. Want a bigger cut of that pie. I'm like, I know you do, guys. I'm not gonna have you guys do like that. I'm not gonna pay you $300 million for the salary cap, man. You're fucking crazy. You're duping, man. Because I know the $300 salary cap, like good players can now bargain for like $24 million, guys. And they're not worth that. They're ripping you off. And non-generational talent can bargain for the $50 million now, and generational talent can bargain for $75 million a season. But they're not worth that. They're duping me, the players. They're not worth that kind of money. And they know it. Even Carmen Davis and Crosby are not worth $75 million a season. They're not worth that. For their base alone, they're not worth that, man. And they know it. You're overpaying them and they're duping you, Ivan. Yeah, but Ivan, it's peanuts. I know it's peanuts, guys, but you're not worth this. I'm not going to have you guys dupe me, man. Come on, you guys can say, yeah. Sarah? Yeah. Ivan, man, like seriously, man, if you do this, man, you're gonna crush us NHL athletes. Like we missed out on all that money and all that fame, and we missed out on all that fame and fortune, Ivan. We've been world famous, and I'd rather be inducted into your SHL Hall of Fame, Ivan, than the fucking Gatekeepers NHL, Ivan. I know. Yeah, I'm gonna have them build my SHL Hall of Fame hall and everything. Yeah, and after like 10, 15 years, you have the first players inducted into the SHL Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's crazy, you know? You have the start of the history of the SHL. It's crazy. That's why all these edge legends are gonna feel like shit. Yeah, man, if you do that, you're gonna crush us, man. I'd rather be a legend yearly in the fucking Gatekeepers NHL. And they missed out on all that dough. They would have made way more money working for me. Yeah. NHL athletes peak at about like maybe 60, 70 million in career earnings around there, right? Sidney Crosby, I think, has like 150 million or something like that in career earnings in his like 20-year NHL career. Obviously, that's how much good players are going to be making. Good players in my league will be making their 100, 120, 130, 140 million in career, 150 million in career earnings. And the star players are going to make at least their 180 million plus. 200 million plus in career earnings. The star players in my league. Whereas good players will make their like 80, 120, 140, 150 million career earnings. And the average players obviously will be pulling in maybe 40 million, 50 million in career earnings. That's still good for an average player, right? Everyone's getting paid. Yeah. Yeah, Sidney Crosby peaked, I think, at 150 million in career earnings. 160 million in career earnings Sidney Crosby peaked at after like 20 plus years in the NHL. It's a lot of money, but like in my league, he would have made like his 450 million, 500, even 500 million in career earnings. Something crazy. Yeah. Yeah, not even 500 million is too much. Yeah, only the generational players will be getting that, right? Generational talent will be getting at least 400 to 500 million. Sorry, guys, I farted. That's gross. 400 to 500 million in career earnings. Generational talent. Generational talent are worth at least they're 350 to 400 million even 450 million career earnings because they're rare talent. But the other guys are not worth that. They're not worth any more than maybe 300 million in career earnings. 250 million career earnings. 200 million career earnings. Yeah. So if a player in my league makes 200 million after 10 seasons, 220 million after 10 seasons, that's good enough, man. Most of these pro athletes in other pro sport leagues don't see that kind of money, man. And now they have to take pay cuts, but I'm still going to make sure they get paid good money. Like they're 10 million, 11 million, yeah, 8 million, 9 million. That's still good money. That's how much star players make in the NHL. Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. After I made all that dough, if I'm playing the NHL and I'm a veteran player, I'm so productive, but I'm past my prime. If I can make my 10 million, 11 million, 8 million, 9 million a season, I'm still happy. Yeah, it's still a lot of money. You're still making some nice extra cash for yourself. But you're not making the money that you made before. You took huge pay cuts, obviously, because I'm not going to have these athletes do me, man. Guys from Sarah? Ivan, can you sign 12-year deals? No, 12 years is too long. Don't peak any higher than in the NHL. I think they peak at 12 years. 12 years is too long. No, don't sign any longer deals than 10 years. 10 years is enough for a player. Ivan, do you recommend long-term contracts? Yes, if the player breaks out into the SHL as a star player, I recommend you sign that player to a long-term deal, 8 to 10 years. That way they sign a mega deal. They get paid a lot of money. Obviously, the longer the deal, the more money they make, right? And make sure the players get paid, but like you have to be careful. You have to balance out the deal, and don't pay a non-generational talent any more than 30 million guys. That's good enough for the player. That's double than what the NHL athletes make. Star players in the NHL make. And then don't peak any higher than 50 million for generational talent. 35 to 50 million dollars. That's good enough for the players, for like a couple rare guys that show up in the league. Obviously. Yeah. Ivan, can we pay like 3 players $30 million? Yes, you can. You can pay 3-star players $30 million, but like you have to be careful about the cap. Obviously. You're going to drain the cap. You're not, but there's still 100. Like the NHL salary cap is 100 million, right? So it's like even $110 million salary cap. That's still enough cap space to pay like 15 other players good money. You can easily pay like three like good players 13 million and one good player like 10 million with that. With that, and the other players make like their 6, 7, 4 million. They still have enough cap space, obviously. Yeah. So the GMs can, the GMs can pay 3-star players $30 million to keep them happy. But I'm just saying, if you do that, you're not going to have as much cap space to pay the other players more money. You have more limited cap space, obviously. But they only pay them that for 2 seasons, guys. You can pay 3 players $30 million for 2 seasons. After they have to take pay cuts. You create cap space. How it works. Yeah. 27, 26 million after that, those 2 years. That's still good. Oh, you create cap space. Pay other players. Obviously. Yeah. Who are the luckiest players in the league? The players playing on my team, obviously, because they see me. Because they see me all the time, they feel they're saved, obviously. But even the other players playing in my league are lucky too. They're still saved. They're part of the buzz of the league and everything. But the players on my team are the luckiest because they're going to be trending with me and everything. But all the star players in the other teams are going to be trending too. The fans are going to love them. They're going to take pictures of them. It's fucking crazy, man. They're trending. That's why these NHL athletes are going to feel like shit. Yeah, man, you're going to crush us, man. Like, these athletes are all world famous and we're all like the side attention in the NHL. Yeah, the side attention in the NHL. They missed out on the opportunity, right? They missed out on the worldwide fame, and all that, the fortune, obviously. Yo, I missed out on being world famous hockey athletes and all. We missed out on all that dough. Yeah, these athletes would make way more money and more money than they would in the NHL. Yeah. But Ivan, like, why would you have the cap at $200? Why don't you have it at 100 like the NHL? Because the players deserve more than what the hockey athletes in the NHL deserve more money than what they're getting paid, right? Because the league is not generating the kind of money the other leagues are making, they can't afford to pay the players more money. So that's why I'm doubling the amount. I'm doubling the cap amount to $200, where the players can make a bit more. But $200 is enough. I'm not going to put like $300 times guys to me, man. $200 million is enough for the cap. Players can make good money. Star players can make 18, 20, 25, 27, $30 million in my league. That's a lot of money. They don't make that in the NHL. The NHL athletes peak at like 16 million. These are star players, peak at 16 million. But with their endorsement deals, they can peak at like 20 million in earnings. But like star players in my league are making like their 20 million, 25, 27, 30 million, 32 million with league revenue. Like 10 million, 8 million, 14 million of league revenue. Obviously, they're making way more money than what these NHL athletes are making. But there is no endorsement deals in my league. So I'm not selling the kids. Got some Sarah? Yeah. Yo, Ivan, just having the press interview you and everything, like, with the fellow star players, that's glory, Ivan. Yeah, you see me in training camp, the press interview me, interview the coaches. The coaches, they ask about Ivan and the star players. How's Ivan doing? They talk about the star players, and the coach talks about me like, yeah, that's fucking cool. I'm like, no. Yeah, just you in a press conference room with the star players is glory. Yeah, it's glory. Ivan's a world famous pro hockey athlete. If assuming I'm a star, right? The whole world's buzzing about it. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. That's why these national asking for like shit. Because they missed on they missed on the fame and the fortune, right? Not fame and fortune, obviously. Obviously. Yeah. Yeah, right. They got to be famous and rich too in the NHL. Yeah, they did. They got to be famous and rich in the NHL too, but they would have been way more famous in my league, obviously. They would have been world famous in my league. Way more famous than working in my league, and they would have made way more money than what they make in the NHL. Yeah, they made a lot of money in the NHL and they're famous, but it's not even close to the fame in my league. It's not even close to the fortune, man. They would have made way more money working for me than they ever would have made working in the NHL. My league blows the NHL water. Not even close, right? NHL is now a puny small league compared to my league. As my league will be doing 100, I don't know, 40 billion a season, something crazy, 120 billion a season, 100 billion a season revenue. The NHL peaks at 7 billion. The NFL is now a puny small league compared to my league. Even the NFL is a puny small league compared to my league now. NFL peaks at like 22 billion a season in revenue. My league will be doing 100 billion, 120 billion a season revenue. It's not even close, man. Yeah, man. And don't forget, I am way more famous than all these pro athletes, right? Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Stephen Curry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Sidney Crosby, Harmony. Yeah, I'm way more famous than all these pro athletes. Yeah, man. That's why they're arguing like shit, honestly. But I can flop, guys. I don't take that risk, right? Yeah, you can flop. I can flop as a player. Yeah. Flop as a player. Almost done it, guys. After this, I'm gonna take my shower, brush my teeth. I'm gonna head outside and bust to Dinty's, right? Pick up my check. Why don't you walk, Ivan? No, I'm not walking there. I'm gonna take the bus. Usually how it works is I take the bus there, then going back home I walk, but I might just bus back home today because it's snowing and everything. I'll just take the bus back home and I'll go to Wilford Levine and I'll get my 6 beers and my 20 pack of smokes. I'll enjoy the show with you after you guys. I'll enjoy the show after you guys, right? Because after this I'm gonna upload the video and I'm gonna take a shower. And by the time I go to Dinty's and I ride back home, you guys will be probably 45 minutes into watching my video, right? Yeah. Alright, man, 32 million seems a bit too low for the best star players. That's good enough, man. I'm not gonna have you guys do me. Yeah. 40, 50 million for a player is too much. They're ripping you off. 32 million is enough for the peak. Obviously. Only generational talents are worth a bit more. 35, 40, 50 million they're worth. I told you, generational talents are rare talent that come up every maybe 8 years. You have maybe 1 or 2 players who are generational talents after every 8 years. And those guys get to 35 to 50 million dollars. But the other guys are not going to peak any higher than 32 million. That's good enough. Alright, what about 40? Nah, man. I'm not having guys do me, man. 32 million is enough for the player's peak. Pay a star player 32 million for 2 seasons. That's $64 million in earnings. They got 14 million in league revenue. Yeah. They got 28 million extra in league. 64 plus 28 is what? How much is that in earnings? And don't forget they have their magazine money too, right? 64 plus 18. 82 million in earnings for 2 seasons. Then with their magazine money, they made like almost $90 million. $88 million, whatever it is, $89 million for 2 seasons. The star players in that league. Get 32 million for 2 seasons, and you got your 14 million in league revenue for those 2 seasons, and you got your 3.5 million for like 1 season. They made like 85 million in earnings for 2 seasons. Obviously, that's a lot of money. Then after that, they have to take pay cuts. I'm not going to have the GMs pay a star player 32 million for 10 seasons. They're not worth that. I don't want you guys to do me. Yeah. Even the board guys tell me, yeah, even they have to take pay cuts. You don't want to pay a player 32 million for 10 seasons. They're ripping you off. They're ripping me off, man. They're not worth that, man. They're not worth $320 million with their. If you pay them that, Ivan, with their league revenue, they just made like almost $400 million. A non-generational talent player, they're not worth that, Ivan. Like, they're duping you, man. Yeah, you have to balance it out. 32 million for 2 seasons, and after that you make 26 million for the next 2 seasons. Next 3 seasons. You can pay them 27 million for 3 seasons to keep them happy. That way they get paid. And after that, you gotta take another pay cut. They get 21 million for the next like 2 seasons. In the final season, they make maybe 19 million. That's good enough. You have to take pay cuts. That's how it works right now. You have to bring down the league revenue too. Start them off at 14, then bring it down to 12, bring it down to 10, bring it down to 8, then bring it down to 6, and their final years are contract. That way you balance it out. They don't dupe you, man. That's what I'm saying. And they sign. The players still made like what? $250+ million, whatever it is. In earnings. 270 million in earnings. 260 million in earnings. That's a lot of money. They don't make any NHL. And after that, they're never going to make that money ever again. I'm not going to have these athletes do it. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah, man. If you really think I'm going to let you get another big contract like that and have you do like that, man, you're crazy. You make like $250 million in your career earnings for like your 10, 12 seasons, whatever it is, and you think I'm gonna let the GM sign you to never do like that again, you're crazy, man. You're not worth that, guys. You rip me off. You're duping me, man. You overpaid them, Ivan, right? You paid them way too much money. Yeah. There's a saying in this world: you get paid for what you're worth, right? Yeah, not have these athletes dupe you, Ivan. Yeah, when I'm paying them enough, I'm not having these guys dupe me. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, some athletes be pissed off that they have to take a pay cut. They might. Like after that, they signed that mega deal, and they're like 32 years old, 33. They're no longer in their prime. You know what I'm saying? They try to get another mega deal, and the GMs decline and say, "No, sorry, we can't. You're not allowed to do that. League rules. We once you're past your prime and you're older, we can't pay you that money anymore. And you're not allowed to get league revenue either. The players might be pissed off. What the fuck, man? I'm like, guys, I'm not gonna have you guys do like that, man. That's part of the rule. You're not allowed to get league revenue anymore, and you're not allowed to to get another deal like that again. Because you already got paid, guys. Now you have to take sacrifices and work in the league for a lot of money, but you're taking pay cuts. That's how it works. But to keep the players happy, if you're productive on the ice, you can still make your 10, 11, 12 million, which is still good. Sign like a 2-year, $24 million deal. They get 12 million. That's still good money. That's what star players making NHL, guys. You're still getting paid. Make your 8 million, your 7 million. You're still getting paid good money. Yeah, we're getting paid on it, but it's not the money we made before. I know, guys, but you're not worth it anymore, man. You're old now. You're past your prime. I don't know how you guys do me. Yeah. Sarah? Yeah. Alright, is being a movie star much cooler than being a famous pro hockey athlete? No, it's not. It's close. Yeah, even the glory is close, but movies is the better glory, obviously. It's me and VJ with like special effects and visual effects. But the pro hockey thing is close, especially from a star player and the whole world's buzzing about it, and all the sport anchors are talking about me with all the fellow star players. And they interview me in the press conference, interviews with the press. I'm putting on a show. That's also glory too. Obviously, it's glory too. Obviously, yeah. And the whole world of like shit. Obviously, yeah. No, we're left behind. Ivan's a fucking famous pro hockey athlete. We're left out of that because everything going on with Ivan is also behind the scenes. The press interviews and everything will be. You guys will see the videos and everything, but like I'll be trending with the players and everything all behind the scenes too. It's not in public eye. It's self the gates, right? It's all behind the scenes. That's how it works. Yeah. Yeah. Will your press conference videos be live? No, it's not live. It's pre-recorded. Yeah, they record it and then they interview me and the star players, and they upload it on my on the site, on the team website. Now you guys will be tuning into that, obviously. Holy shit! Look at Ivan. Ivan's a fucking. He's a star athlete, pro athlete. Yeah, and all the actual like shit, obviously. No, I mean, you do that, you're gonna crush us, man. You miss on opportunity. Yeah, man. But most likely moves our region, guys. That's just the truth, right? Yeah. Yeah. What was it, guys? Well, you got this item. I'm gonna upload the video, and after that, I'm gonna take a shower, and I'm gonna head on to the bus station and pick the bus to Denny's and pick up my. I have no money, so I have to pick up my check today to get my beer and my smokes, right? My $100 check. I'm gonna get my beer and my smokes. Yeah. Enjoy the show after you guys, right? You guys will probably be, I don't know, 40 minutes into the video by the time I arrive home. 15. But you guys will be about done the video when I arrive back home, right? I watch the video after you guys, right? That's funny. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to have the press really talk about you with the news and interview, yeah, you have to be a star player. That's how it works. The press usually interviews the star players for each team in the press conference room. It's all about the star players. They interview the coach and the star players. And the other players too, but they mainly focus on the star players. So if you want to be in the press conference room with the press when they interview Ivan and all that stuff, you have to be a star player with your fellow star players on your team. Obviously. Because you probably have me and maybe two other star players on my team who are the face of the team and the face of the league with me, with the other star players in the other teams. That's how it works. Obviously. That's where all these guys are out to play shelves. Yeah, you guys are gonna crush us. You miss out on the fame and the fortune, obviously, right? On all the fame, all that fame and all that fortune. Obviously. Yeah, man. It's the SHL bowl, the SHL the water. Anyways, guys, this is Rad Guys of the show. I'm not saying on peace. I'm gonna upload this video, take my shower. I'm gonna bust the Dindies. I'm gonna enjoy the show after you guys when I ride back home. My beer, my smokes. So I'm saying on peace. SHL and the NHL, guys. Peace out, guys. Don't hear me, guys. Say peace. We guys on the show.